Sobriety was no part of his philosophy. He believed in living according to a kind of happy madness within himself, with complete disdain for the opinions of his fellow men. It was necessary that he have this disdain, or he could not have survived the pressure. He was a free soul. He lived and died a free soul, a master of his own destiny, and a captain of the ship of his own life. If then he had this freedom, this peculiar ability to penetrate sham and pretense, he tried to leave a record of this quality and pointed out how valuable it could be, particularly as the walls of pretense grew higher and stronger with the passing of years. Nature, as he found it by the pool of Walden, was a very pleasant thing, moving through seasons. One thing he discovered was that man to live must work, but that man to live must work in the most simple way, that his needs were so essentially few that with a few square yards of earth he could scratch an existence. But his neighbors insisted that this was little better than pauperism, that the individual who was content to raise from the earth only his food was indeed a poor man, lacking ambition, lacking that drive which causes success and brings with it reputation and regard. Thoreau's philosophy on this subject was rather simple also. If you do your work with your hands and allow your hands to feed your body, then your mind is free to feed your soul. Where if you put mind, hand, spirit, soul, and body all behind the plow, you can plow more rows, but you will die ignorant of everything that is good. Essential for the purpose of buying for man, not goods but life itself, dealing in a coinage of contentments, not depending upon various diversions to achieve peace, but rather to find peace itself, the full and complete expression of a way of life endeavor. Thoreau then began by a psychological experiment which evidently was natural to his own nature. He scarcely expresses it in words, but he certainly implies it in his conduct at each step of his great adventure at Walden Pond. He began to cast off the ballast of false value. He recognized that you cannot free yourself by further entanglement, and that there is no delusion greater than that by which we deceive ourselves by saying, when I have achieved this, when I have accomplished that, when I have amassed those things, then I shall retire and enjoy myself. No man lives so long. Because by that time he has created habits. Habits themselves so contrary to his enjoyment that he has become a slave of them. And when a time comes for him to retire, it is not the man but his habits that collect the pension. He simply continues to be what he has always been, for he has lost the power to change. If then we are to retire and enjoy life, we must retire at the beginning while we still can. This does not mean that we shall stop work or cease to provide the natural means of our survival. but it means that we shall retire from an illusion, from the delusion of career, the delusion of success, and shall begin from the very start to practice those values which we hope to enjoy at 70 or 75 years of age. There is no reason why we should hold our enjoyments until that period in life when we are least able to enjoy them, or to wait for our vacation to the time when infirmities may make it impossible for us to ever take one. For there to find again the bonds that tie us with the eternal, realizing that we are divine creatures in a house of clay, that we should make this house as wisely and as beautifully as we can is proper. But the man lives not for the house. The house exists to serve the man. Empire, industry, economics, policy, these things man does not live for. They exist for the purpose of serving man. When they serve him, they are good. When they enslave him, they are wrong. And each individual must free himself from the slavery of the world he has fashioned. And to do it, he must return to the real world, the world that he did not fashion, the world he has lost and forgotten because he was so busy with his own inventions. If he does this and achieves this, I think he fulfills the spirit of the idea which Thoreau attempted to convey. Time's up.